Ever wondered which is the best value for money pack in Marvel Crisis Protocol? Well, let's take a look. Hey guys, Rich from Rich Mid Gaming. Hope everyone is doing fantastically well. And it's coming to about a year since I last made a video that looked at the best packs or the most value for money packs in Marvel Crisis Protocol based on a number of different things, and it was centered around the TTS League and the pick rate and everything else like that. And I thought, as there had been lots of new characters released, there's been lots of new packs released, we've had lots of erratas to characters, and also TTS Season 7 is coming to an end. It would be a good time to look at those character packs again, redo the list, see who's moved up, see who's moved down, and more importantly, see which are the best value for money packs in the game right now. Now, a couple of little caveats here in the way that I've worked it out. So we've started, and every single item in the game has a baseline score. So for example, a character on a small base is going to get 20 points. On a medium base, they're going to get 25 points. On a large base, they're going to get 30 points. Now that's really to show the amount of plastic that's actually in those character packs, because that is part of the value, the size of the model and what you get with it. Now I appreciate that that's not always a real calculation, but it at least gives us a baseline to work from. If that character is then a leader, they're going to get an extra 25 points, and that's really to represent how important those characters are in the game. A tactics card is going to be 10 points, but a restricted tactics card is going to be 20 points. And again, that's really to show and represent how good those restricted cards are in the game right now. A crisis card is going to get you 50 points. If you come with a gem, you're going to get 1 point for each of them. And if you've got an ultimate encounter in your box, or there's a character in your box that gives you access to an ultimate encounter that's on the actual website, you're going to score an extra 25 points. And then lastly, you'll score 1 point for each piece of terrain that you have in your box. So for example, the taco truck in the Deadpool box will score 3 points. Now, what we then do with those character, crisis and tactics cards is we apply a modifier to them. So for example, if Corvus Glaive has been taken 10% in 10% of the rosters, he would normally score 25 points for being on a medium base. He'll actually score 2.5 points, so 10% of the 25 points available to him in total. We extrapolate that all down. We then divide that total cost by the actual cost of the box itself. So we are looking at how much each of these boxes do cost in dollars. Now it's the dollars that are issued, or the dollar price, sorry, that's issued on the AMG website. Obviously, we know that we can go out there and get these cheaper, but again, I wanted to use a consistent baseline, and then that gives us a score. Any box that scores under 0.1 is going to be in the D tier. Anyone under 0.25 will be in the C tier. Anyone under 0.5 will be in the B tier. Under 0.7, you're in the A tier. If you're above 0.7, you're going in the S tier. And if you are above 2, you are going in the S plus tier. So with all that down, let's jump over to the tier list, take a look through and work through each of these character packs. So as you can see, we've got a lot of boxes to go through. So let's start then, and let's go and jump straight in to CP04, which is the Hulk. He's obviously got the Hulk character. He's on a large base. He's got a number of tactics cards with him. He has an ultimate encounter, and he has the Gamma Wave sweeps across Midwest with a 26% play rate in the last TTS League. He goes straight in at S tier. CP05 then is the other release that came alongside Hulk, so the Cabal big hitter, if you like, which is obviously MODOK. He's fallen from grace a little bit of late. You don't see him played too much now, but he's still doing absolute solid work, coming in at A tier. CP07 next, Black Panther and Killmonger. Obviously, we've got a leader. It's our first leader in there. Killmonger isn't played too much, but I really rate him as a player. We've got 3 tactics cards. We've also got the Mystic Wakandan Herbs, Fact or Fiction, 21% play rate. Those guys are holding their own in there. They go straight up to S tier. CP08, and I believe, if I remember rightly, these guys absolutely stormed it last time round, and it was mainly because of the play rate of Okoye that was up in the high 80s, maybe even 90s, I believe. They've fallen from grace quite considerably. Really, it's advanced R&D with a 31% play rate that's holding them up, but unfortunately, it's not enough to put them any higher than C tier. CP09 next, and it's Venom, and he's got a couple of things going for him. 14% play rate for himself. He's on a medium base, so he's getting 25 points as a starting point there. Lethal Protector, only a 13% play rate, so there's people out there not taking him. It does only cost $24.95 for the box, but with nobody taking Uneasy Allies, he's the first of our characters that's scoring no points for one of his cards, which unfortunately means he's going in at C tier. CP10, Spider-Man Miles Morales and Ghost Spider coming in next. $34.95 box, so one of the cheaper duo packs, but it's the Portals Overrun City with Spider People at 16% play rate that's doing some absolute heavy lifting for them here, meaning that they're coming in at B tier. CP11 next, with Thor, Prince of Asgard and Valkyrie, 2 characters who, one I think deserved the nerf, the other one being Thor, who really needed a boost. However, Fear grips world as worthy terrorizer citizens. It's the Hammers. It is absolutely everywhere. That Hammers is doing some absolute heavy lifting. It goes straight into S tier. Hela and Loki, it's our first pack with a gem. Loki with some really good play rates at 13%. Doom Prophecy at 2%. Sibling Rivalry at 3%. Hela, again, only at 3%. So they just do enough to make it into C tier. CP13 next, and with Winter Soldier getting a revised card coming in at 11% play rate, Vision always been strong coming in at 10%, and some actually highly played tactics cards as well. We've got Tactical Analysis at 7%. Okay, PSD is only at 1%, but 44% on Field Dressing means these guys go straight in at A tier. CP15 next, Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight. As everyone knows, Quinn's favourite duo of characters. You don't actually get the reality gem in this pack. You have to get the Thanos one for that. But that doesn't affect the score whatsoever. However, even though these guys are very good, they score highly in other things. You don't see them outside of affiliation a huge amount. They also only have tactics cards, really, that you see played in affiliation, which means they only go into C tier. CP16, Gamora and Nebula next, and Gamora with a very respective 8%, Nebula with 13%. Obviously she's a 2 threat, she's much easier to take, but once again it's that restricted card of Medpack doing the heavy lifting with a 64% play rate, meaning they go straight in at B tier. CP17 next. I don't know about everybody else, but my favourite deadly duo and one of my favourite 5-threat combinations in the game, Rocket Raccoon and Groot. They do struggle. They've both got really good play levels, so 17% and 12% respectively. Deadly duo 11%, We Are Groot 7%. I think where these guys really suffer is they don't have any generic cards that can be taken by anybody in the game. You have to take those cards with their characters, so because of that they only score enough points to get them into C tier. Captain of the Milano next. Yes, it's Star-Lord coming up in CP18. 11% play rate for himself, which is really good. Crew of the Milano 8%. Rocket Boots 1%. He does have a gem, however he really scores a lot less this time round because the Crisis card that came in his box is now banned. So therefore we can no longer play it in competitive play. And really it's the banning of that Crisis card that means he's down in C tier. CP19 next, Black Dwarf, Ebony Maw, coming in with some really strong Black Order cards, however. And I thought these guys may be down there in the D tier. They might have been our first nominations for that, but they scored just enough points to scrape into C tier. Speaking of the first D tier that we've had so far, this one really pained me, and it shows that I am not biased when I put these together. The maths is the maths. There's no way from hiding from it. CP20, Drax the Destroyer, and Ronan the Accuser. Problem is they come with two tactics cards that nobody really uses too much, no matter the cost at 8%, but Unearthly Rage at 0%, not taken once in the entire league. 5% for Drax, 4% for Ronan. I really think people are sleeping on both of these characters, both in Guardians and outside of Guardians, but right now, unfortunately, they're only scoring enough to get them into D tier. CP21 next, and another character that had a big errata that made a huge change. Leadership changes plus some extra dice. Yes, it's the Green Goblin, but he's also got Blind Obsession in his pack as well. A card that was taken 30% in the league, 7% for himself, which is really good. Obviously, whenever somebody's taking Spider Foes, they're going to be taking Green Goblin, but you also see him outside of leadership roles as well, which means he's done enough to earn himself B tier. CP23 next, and a character that I thought was going to score, or a pack that was going to score much higher than this, but really it's the tactics cards that come in this pack that really let it down. It's Doctor Strange and Wong, and whilst they both have 10% play rate, which is really good, we've also got the Montesi formula in there at 18%. It's a 1% play rate for each of the tactics cards that they've got in that pack, and really it's the changes to the affiliation and those tactics cards that have really hurt them. They do, however, still do enough to earn themselves a B tier. CP24 next, Black Widow, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., Hawkeye, two cards that are not taken much in heavy firepower and professionals. I expect these guys to absolutely shoot up the rankings when we see Season 8 come round and we see people starting to play the S.H.I.E.L.D. affiliation. But for now, these guys are in D tier. CP25 next, and the first of our big expensive packs, coming in at $65. Now, people complained last time round that I did Thanos a little bit dirty last time round, mainly because I didn't take into account the fact that he had an ultimate encounter. I also didn't take into account the fact that he came with terrain. So with all of that taken into consideration, he has indeed shot up the rankings. He is now A tier. Ant-Man and the Wasp, even though we've doubled up on their points because each of them come with two characters, we've doubled up, so they had a baseline of 40 points each. It wasn't enough to keep them outside of D tier, although I do think people are sleeping on Ant-Man, especially in Criminal Syndicate. If you want to know what I'm talking about, go back out and check one of the other videos that I did that spoke about how you can swing a 3-point VP on Gamma Wave when playing Criminal Syndicate by using Ant-Man. Well, it's your boy Ghost Rider next, and not only is he putting in a 16% play rate, he's got Deal with the Devil that's at 14%, but he's also got Demons Downtown at 41%. Absolutely great stats from him. You know me, I absolutely love me some, in particular, Cosmic Ghost Rider. He goes straight in at A tier. So CP28 next, another character pack that was very high up in the pecking order last time round. Angela and Enchantress. She's got that Guardians of the Galaxy card, Lovable Misfits, which really helps. But Asgardians are not seeing a lot of play at the moment. I think that's one of the reasons. This pack could definitely get a resurgence if we get a new leader for Asgard. But right now, it's down in C tier. Next up, another solo leader pack in CP29. It's Kingpin. He's got two tactics cards that are pretty good, that are taking quite a lot. Mayor Fisk vows to find missing witnesses, however, has dropped down considerably to only a 6% play rate. He's still got an 11% play rate in himself, but with that card dropping down, it means that he's only managing to make B tier. CP30 next, Bullseye Daredevil with acute senses, climbing gear, and cruelty. And This is the first character pack we've had so far where one of the characters has scored 0, being Daredevil. So by himself, with a 31% play rate, Bullseye has managed to get himself and Daredevil up to C tier. But yeah, even one person playing Daredevil would have made a big difference there. But Bullseye doing the heavy lifting. And yeah, it's a shame to see. CP32 next, Punisher and Taskmaster, 3 cards that are not taken a lot. Unfortunately, they're another D tier. Big Daddy D next, and on to our second big pack, and I think the most expensive box we've had so far, $79.95 CP33 Dormammu, only a 4% play rate. Dark Empowerment, a 0.4% play rate, and then a 4% play rate for Dark Restoration. He does have the Ultimate Encounter, which is propping up his score quite a bit, if I'm being brutally honest with you. He's coming in at B tier. CP34, Black Bolt Producer, but they've got some, well, one in particular, really good tactics card in Bitter Rivals coming in at 23%. They've also got Terrigen Cloud Sweeps Over City coming in at 22%, and that means it's just enough for CP34 to get into B tier. This next one pains me a little bit because you guys know me, I love the bestest boy. CP35, the Inhumans counterparts, Crystal and Lockjaw. Surprised to see last minute save at 2%. It's not a card I play a lot, but CP35 right now coming in at D tier. Second leader of our Spider foes, Amazing Spider-Man, coming in with a 6% play rate, but it's the 3-threat Black Cat doing some absolute heavy lifting here with a 41% play rate. That puts them all the way up in B tier. Another pack that I think if we'd have done this for season 6 would have been way up there. CP38, Captain America Sam Wilson and War Machine. They've got 2 tactics cards that weren't taken once, and the rest of their tactics cards are under 5%. Captain America Sam Wilson is coming in at 13%, but it's not enough for them to be any higher than C tier. CP39, She-Hulk, A-Force Assemble, Agent of Smash, Special Delivery, and Stalwart Determination. And people aren't playing a lot of A-Force at the moment, and I think that's why. I'm seeing them more and more in Avengers at the moment. We're seeing some double Hulk, and unfortunately, because of that lack of play, it does mean that she is in C tier. Wolverine, Sabretooth, 1-2 Punch, Weapon X, and Exceptional Healing, CP40. Even with a 14% play rate of Exceptional Healing, it's not enough to keep these 2 mutants out of D tier. CP41, Cyclops, Storm, we've got 3 tactics cards, plus we've got Mutant Madmen with a 30% play rate. We're seeing a big resurgence of X-Men in this game at the moment. Yes, I still think that both Storm and in particular Cyclops need some tweaking to their leadership abilities, but with the releases of who have we got? Rogue, we've got not so much Colossus, X-23, Honey Badger, Magic, Gambit. These guys are not only starting to perform, or you've seen them being played more, but they're starting to perform really well at events. They go straight up into A tier. CP42, Magneto and Toad. This has really been the season for the mutants, in particular the Brotherhood of Mutants. They bring some great tactics cards, even though 2 of their tactics cards in Heave-Ho and Magnetic Crush scored absolutely nothing. They've got the Senators coming in at 21%, means they go straight in at A tier. The mixed mutant pack with Mystique and Beast. We've got Advanced R&D in here as well. Book of Truth isn't taken a lot, but Deception is taken almost as much as Mystique, and it's enough to put them straight into B tier. Deadpool with his taco truck, and even though we've taken into account that we score extra points for that taco truck, the really low play value of Deadpool at 6%, Bob at 1%, and then very low on any of their tactics cards that they've got, means that for the second time running, Bob, Agent of Hydra, Deadpool, and the taco truck are going into D tier. Mr. Sinister next, and whilst as an individual character himself, with only a 4% play rate, 2% on Forced Extraction, 2% on Cloning Banks, it's that 30% play rate on Deadly Legacy Virus that bumps him all the way up to A tier. CP47 next, Cable coming in with a 9% play rate. Domino at only 12%. I really think people are sleeping on Domino. The Tactics cards are not too much to shout about, but they also come with a Crisis that has a 14% play rate. So they've done just enough to get themselves into B tier. CP48, Blade and Moon Knight next, and 9% play rate on Blade. 15% play rate on Moon Knight. I thought these guys were going to score higher than what they have done, but their tactics cards are very, very low. Siege of Darkness at 9, Bats the Ghost Hound at 6, and Banishment not taken a single time means that unfortunately they've only done enough to get themselves into C tier. Luke Cage, Iron Fist, CP49, pretty decent play rates for both of them at 10 and 15% respectively. 21% for Heroes for Hire, but again, kick them while they're down and Kunlun Training just absolutely drag these two down. Unfortunately right now, only in C tier. Mysterio and Carnage next, and it really is Carnage that is dragging Mysterio down. Mysterio with an 11% play rate, his Grand Illusion card with an 8% play rate. However, Carnage is only 3%. There will be Carnage is only 0.4%, and Carnage Rules is again only 3%. Means that they are going, unfortunately, straight into C tier. CP52 next, it's the Hulkbuster. He is a leader, but he only has a 6% play rate, which I suppose is not too bad, but the Helios Laser Bombardment that can also be used with the core box Iron Man really bumps them up. So yeah, they go into C tier. Jean Grey, Cassandra Nova, Jean, Mental Domination. There's not too much we can say about these. I do still believe that Jean will get better over time with more members of the X-Men. I do think Cassandra Nova in Cabal in particular is very, very good. But unfortunately, they're not doing anything to keep themselves out of D tier. Omega Red with only a 3% play rate and a very, very low play rate on the 3 tactics cards that he comes with means, unfortunately, it's another X-Men pack in the D tier. CP56 Juggernaut, 25% play rate, 22% play rate on Do You Know Who I Am? But the big problem here is that this pack costs $49.95 for a single character, and that is really holding Juggernaut back. I think he's got the highest play rate of almost any character in this list, but he is being held back by the cost of the pack, and because of that, he is only in C tier. CP57, we've got Colossus with a 5% play rate, we've got Magic with an 11% play rate, Journey Through Limbo at 7%, Fastball Special at 2%, but it's the card, right? The card of the moment. The next one that's going to be banned, it is Indomitable with a 66% play rate. That it's really doing all the heavy lifting that gets these guys into B tier. CP58 next, it's Kraven the Hunter at 4% play rate, but Lizard at 29% play rate. That is doing some absolute heavy lifting here. He's really become a staple 3 threat that we see splash in a lot of lists. Even though Fearful Symmetry 0%, Neogenetic Recombinator is at 1%, but we've got Monkey Brain at 9% and the amazing Sinister Traps at 7%. These guys do just enough to get themselves into B tier. Another newer pack, CP60, Rogue Gambit, Charming Thief, Dark Pass, Mind Defy Cut-In, Pardon Me Sugar, but also we've got the Superpowered Scoundrels, Form Sinister Syndicate, coming in with just enough points to get themselves into B tier. I think an older pack that had a very higher up number CP, it's CP61, Sin, the second leader of Cabal, Viper, who, 1% play rate, Ashen Cinder 1%, Illicit Tech 1%. These guys, they're not in a very good place at all, and unfortunately, it does put them down in D tier. Ms. Marvel, a character I expected to be a little bit higher, but with only a 4% play rate and then a 1% on Fan Club, 1% on A Better Tomorrow. This one pains me to say it because I've started to play with her a bit and I'm actually enjoying her quite a lot, but she is in D tier. Another older pack with a higher number, CP63, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. It's the twins, 11% for Quicksilver, 21% for Scarlet Witch. We've got the Whims of Chaos, we've got Difficult to Please, Can I Borrow That, No More Mutants, Research Station. Very, very high up the pecking order. These guys go straight up into A tier. Another A tier is one of our first Convocation pack, I should say. Ancient One and Baron Mordo. Now, it's important to point out, these guys didn't get the extra points for the leadership because the leadership isn't on their card. I gave the extra points to the Tactics card instead. But they do come with Astral Ring, Bane of Damballa, Orb of Agamotto, but they've also got the Intrusions as well with a 33% play rate. It also gives them just enough points to make it into A tier. CP65 next, Dr. Voodoo and Hood. Dr. Voodoo, the single highest percentage take rate or roster rate in the entire league, 45%. Hood scoring double points, obviously, because there's two characters, but their tactics cards are letting them down, and the fact they don't come with anything else. There's no crisis or anything else in there. They're a $50 pack, which means, yes, they've got some high play rates, but unfortunately, it can't get them any higher than B tier. CP67, Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme with clear 10 and 5% play rate, bar with no doors, as you would expect up there with a 9% play rate. And that's really propping them up as well because they're getting those extra points for that card. All in all, they're coming in with a B tier. Honey Badger X23, I'm going to predict that these guys are going to be much, much higher next season. I think if we were to wait until season 8, we would see these guys shoot up. X23, people are really starting to see the value of her. Unfortunately, because the tactics cards don't have a high play rate and they don't bring anything else with like crisis or leadership or anything like that, they do score a little bit lower on this one, meaning that they are in C tier. But watch out for next season. I think these guys are going to shoot up the rankings. And then that leaves me with CP01. And you may have seen we have had the S plus tier there all video long and nobody yet has been put into there. Well, the reason for that is that has been left for the core box itself. It scored twice the number of points as any other single box character. Now, yes, it's a discounted box that... is discounted to try and get you into the game, right? It's only $100. Again, you can usually buy it for less. Comes with 10 characters, a huge amount of tactics cards, 6 crisis cards, everything you need to start up and, getting the game going. Huge value in this, even with, picking out some of these characters and cards that we've got in here. Baron Zemo, 17% play rate. Steve Rogers, 14%. Iron Man, 13%. Patch Up, 12%, Follow Me 14%, Avengers Assemble 14%. Let's not forget Brace for Impact is in this box with a 49% take rate. Sacrifice, another card that's gone way up the pecking order, 31%. And then every single one of the crisis cards, with the exception of Deadly Meteors, is above a 20% take rate. So you got 23%, 24%, 34% for Infinity Formula. There is a huge amount of value in this box. It is still the thing that I recommend every single player starts with. And it's the only entry into our S plus tier. Well, guys, there we go. That is every single Marvel Crisis character pack ranked by their value. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. Remember, guys, value is what you perceive it to be. Obviously, I'm a Guardians player, so I see a huge amount of value in the Star-Lord, Rocket, Groot, Gamora packs. And I've bought them because I want to play with them. But this is just a reflection of where these games are at the moment. And, a lot of it comes down to the tactics cards. A lot of it comes down to the crisis cards that are in each of those boxes. So a few people have asked, for a bit of guidance on, what tactics cards are in which box and where crisis and that sort of thing. There's MCPDB, which is a great resource. Obviously, you've got the MG website, and there's also cerebro.com as well. So go and check all of those out if you want to know exactly what's in each of these boxes. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed that, guys. If you have enjoyed it, give it a like. It really, really does help, you know, the old YouTube algorithm. If you want to support the channel even further, and this is where I would normally pitch my own Patreon to you guys, but if you do want to support this channel even further, then I would ask, rather than supporting me on Patreon or doing anything else like that, go and take a look at our Just Giving page. We are now less than a week away from running our Marvel Crisis Protocol Quiz Night. It's all in aid of charity. We've got some fantastic prizes that we are giving away. We've got a separate raffle running as well. I'll leave a link down in the description below to absolutely everything we've got going on. But we've got some terrain boards that have been raffled off. We've had so many local gaming stores and 3D printing guys and people who make their own boards and terrain, and members of the community coming forward and giving prizes. So everything from, as I mentioned, terrain boards through to an entire roster of 3D printed minis, through to one-on-one coaching sessions with some of the best players in the world of Marvel Crisis Protocol. So if you're interested in taking part, it's completely free to take part. But obviously it is a charity night. We are looking to try and raise some funds throughout. So I'll leave links down to everything in the description below. And if you haven't joined the Discord yet, go and check the Discord out. Over 420 of us now on there, all things MCP related. You'll also see all the other content creators on there as well. We do roster discussions. It's where you can find our weekly painting competition. We talk about all sorts of things, both MCP and other board games and Marvel things related. So go over there and check it out. Guys, as always, it leaves me with just enough time to say stay well, keep safe, and until next time, bye for now.